What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Ernie Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so today's video, we are going to be talking about Immortal Hulk, number 31 through 33 by Al Ewing and Joe Bennett. And in this video, we're going to learn exactly why Xemnu, the original recipe Hulk, has come back and exactly what he wants. And more importantly, what Hulk we haven't seen in quite some time, who's about to make a triumphant return. We're going to talk about all that and more right now. But first, wash your damn hands and let's hit that intro.
Word to wise, grass only greener when it's fertilized. Gave them truth in these songs, they prefer to lies. Destiny beautiful, adrift in her purple lies. You can't see me, you Stevie, wondering how I reach more evolutions than Evie and make it look easy.
Before we get started, if you want to see more awesome comic book videos like this one, it only takes 2 clicks to become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers. Click.
Okay, so since it's been a while since I've actually covered anything Immortal Hulk related, let's do a, previously on Immortal Hulk. Last we left off, Dario Agger, CEO of Roxxon, unleashed unholy terrors from the realm of Monster Island, essentially creating a Godzilla King of the Monsters level disaster event in what I believe was Phoenix, Arizona. The Immortal One was able to shut it down, but in killing the Titanic monsters alongside the likes of Gamma Flight and Doc Samson and Red Harpy and Rick Jones, they unleashed smaller monsters inside of these giant creatures that ran roughshod across the city until Xemnu showed up out of nowhere, the original recipe Hulk who first appeared in Journey into Mystery number 62 in 1960, a being of incredible strength, but more importantly, terrifyingly effective mental powers. Xemnu is a telekinetic being who is able to effect mass hypnosis through the usage of hypnotic rays, creating a subliminal messaging effect. He's used this ability to not only make himself look like the true savior of the people, rescuing them from the terrible creatures that wreaked havoc across the city, but also using those aforementioned hypnotic rays to infect everyone present and anyone who is watching through a TV with the belief that Xemnu is in fact the one true Hulk. Anyone who was on the Immortal One's side now believes that Xemnu is in fact the one true Hulk. Anyone who hated Hulk before now loves him and reveres him because they believe he is the Hulk from an old television series called The Magic Planet. But they're not thinking about Banner, they're thinking about Xemnu. And once again, this TV show, The Magic Planet, it's a TV show that never existed, but he's ingrained it into the subconscious of every human on Earth now. The ultimate Mandela effect. If you're not familiar with the term Mandela effect, it's a false memory that for whatever reason, everyone tends to believe, named after the real life Nelson Mandela and how everyone for whatever reason remembers him having a funeral in the 80s despite him not dying until 2013. Some other famous Mandela effects are Jiffy peanut butter, which never existed. It was just Jif. King Henry VIII's portrait where he's holding a turkey leg is actually not real at all. The portrait doesn't have him holding anything resembling food. The whole mirror, mirror on the wall from Snow White is actually magic mirror on the wall. How no one seems to remember that the body of the Lindbergh baby was actually found and the case is not an unsolved mystery. The body was found and the culprit was caught. Also, that movie with Sinbad playing a genie called Shazam never happened. You're thinking about Shaq in the movie Kazam. And why you're thinking about that movie? I have no idea. Whatever the case may be, Xemnu uses this uncanny ability to make everyone turn on Bruce Banner, who at the moment is being piloted by the Savage Hulk. Xemnu's power is unique in that it is actually more effective when his power is channeled through television and other video media. As he puts it, through the culture and the screen. And because we live in a society where everyone from 2-year-olds to 90-year-old great-grandmas have smartphones that we are always glued to no matter what, this made his conquest and dismantling of the Hulk that much easier. Now, of course, his powers don't really work on Dario Agger since his mind is magically shielded from such psychic attacks. He's oddly enough one of the only two people, technically three, who hasn't been affected by Xemnu's will. The others I'll get to in a moment. So what exactly does Xemnu even want? Well, he knows Dario is basically selling the planet Earth out until it's time for its eventual demise. Something he revealed a few issues ago was a lot closer than scientists are letting on. He plans to vacate the Earth and take up residence somewhere else in the 10 realms. As a reward for services rendered, Xemnu gets to have whatever is left of the Earth and its people, since this soon dead planet will pretty much be like his original homeworld, and he will convert whomever is left to become like himself. The rest will be food. His newly fixed form requires that he consume flesh and blood, something we witness as Dario sacrifices one of his closest assistants to sate Xemnu's need. And in a weird way, teaching Xemnu about the importance of recognizing when something is disposable. Everything was going great for Xemnu's plan until it encountered Dr. Charlene McGowan, the former second in command to Shadow Base's General Fortean turned ally to the Immortal One. At first, Dr. McGowan is drinking the Kool-Aid like everyone else is. She believes Xemnu is the Hulk that will save them all. The Hulk that is the one true Hulk. There is no other. Even confusing Hulk himself, who seemingly is unaffected by Xemnu's hypnosis, likely because direct contact with Xemnu tends to render the effects of his hypnosis ineffective. Hulk can't understand it himself at first, why anyone would think he isn't the Hulk. But what's worse is that Savage Hulk has been managing to keep Devil Hulk out of the picture, something that's become alarming to the Immortal One. More and more, since Immortal Hulk number 26, Devil Hulk is realizing that he's not only capable of transforming in daylight, albeit a weaker version of himself, but also during daylight, Savage Hulk is stronger than him and more dominant. But there's a deeper reason as to why that's going on, and once again, we'll get to that here in a minute. And while Hulk is trying to suss it all out, it's at this moment McGowan's memories are starting to go squirrely on her. We're reminded of the times that it's been alluded to that she used to traffic in MGH, mutant growth hormone, for an operation ran by the Kingpin. This is something we've heard mentioned before, and the key figure brought up in the dismantling of that operation was Daredevil, and how she remarked that she was so thrown off by Daredevil showing up that all she could think about was that she always wanted to meet him. But now that memory is altered. Everything else for the most part is in place, but now she remembers it as not being Daredevil who broke up the operation and shut everything down, but Xemnu. Something that bothers her because she recently took a peek at some surveillance footage dating back to when she was telling Rick Jones and Red Harpy about the Daredevil incident. She specifically in that moment can be heard on the recording saying the name Daredevil, not Xemnu. Actual video evidence aside, one of the reasons that Doc McGowan is able to pick up on this harkens back to Immortal Hulk number 30 and a dark secret that Dario seemed ready to unleash about McGowan. Now, we never really knew what this was, and we already knew about the MGH stuff, so it didn't seem like it would be that. There had to be something much darker going on, and actually, when you get down to it, it really isn't that dark at all. In fact, it's something that's quite normal. The Good Doctor is a trans woman. If anyone would know the truth about the real Dr. McGowan and what she originally perceived herself as being growing up versus the real person she knows herself to truly be now, it would be her. And Xemnu's meddling in her head is something that terrifies her more than anything they've ever faced before. And this is a woman who can say she stared the devil directly in the eyes before breakfast every morning. She doesn't like the idea of someone being able to enforce their own narrative onto herself and can only imagine what it would be like for others. Speaking of others, truth is, Hulk was immune to Xemnu's meddling, up to a point. When he reverted back to Bruce Banner's form, not so much. Devil Hulk, and really any other iteration of that persona, is locked away. Not only locked away, but Bruce is in complete denial about it, constantly muttering that everything is okay, even not understanding why anyone calls him Bruce, despite being his actual middle name, no one in comics really ever calls him Robert, which apparently is what his now fractured psyche thinks he's supposed to be called, which is kind of a fair point considering Robert is actually his first name. But he's also saying things that contradict his previous statements in the last 5 issues and really the entirety of this Immortal Hulk run. He's trying to deviate from Devil Hulk's plan to destroy the human world, and Rick is probably the first to notice this. He's also trying to destroy any subconscious messaging that would make him believe he is the Hulk, like Savage Hulk staring back at him in the mirror. The big guy is all alone. He's scared, and even worse, he's pissed that no one believes him and everyone believes this white thing is telling the truth. Fortunately, a much smarter and far stronger Hulk is inside Banner's mind that can help him understand that he's going about trying to reach Banner the wrong way, and that's the World Breaker Hulk. Now, to my best guess, the last time I think I can remember us seeing the World Breaker Hulk was probably around 2007. At least that's by my estimation. He's probably popped up here and there since then, but the last I remember was roughly around 2007 was the last time I remember seeing him. But they're going to need this World Breaker Hulk because Banner is Fruit Loops for sure right now. He's remembering the mission to destroy the human world, but also remembering that he wants the opposite. He's remembering intentionally trying to kill his father, Brian Banner, when he shoved him into that tombstone, but also questioning if that is even a false memory as well. Meanwhile, inside his own head, things are far more weird. But what we learn is that the reason we haven't seen the World Breaker version of the Hulk in some time is not because he was dead or cast out or anything like that. He was simply trying to repair these fractured and out-of-pocket portions of Banner's mind to try and heal him and make things right. One of the things that he plans to fix is Devil Hulk, who now resides in Banner's mindscape, chained to a tree and at World Breaker Hulk's mercy, to beat and torture as he sees fit. World Breaker does not want this version of Hulk to ever see the light of day again. Not only is that version of Hulk locked away, but so too is Joe Fixit, and presumably just about any other version of the Hulk, whether we've seen them recently or not. And this, especially in terms of Devil Hulk, bothers the Savage Hulk, because to him, all Hulks matter. Even this one, and he plans to tear down whatever it is, this structure that World Breaker has put together in Banner's mind, but for all his strength, he can't break the chains. And as hard as he tries, it only hurts Banner physically. But this isn't a problem Hulk can punch his way out of. The problem is rooted somewhere deeper inside Hulk: his childhood. Zimnu hit the part of him that hurts the most. His childhood was not like others. He only knew suffering and the Hulk. Zimnu is the perfect escape for a child like Banner to retake what he never had. But remember earlier when I said Banner couldn't punch his way out of this? Well, I misspoke. What I actually meant to say is he couldn't punch his way out of his problems the way he was looking at them. He technically can, but what he punches isn't going to be his childhood or another Hulk or even Zimnu himself, but the manifestation of everything Zimnu represents to not only the rest of the world, but Banner's childhood, the TV. And the TV is the rabbit hole that will lead him back out and ultimately ripping his way out of Banner's body back into reality, literally. Now, one of the fascinating things here is how Rick Jones responds to all of this. Remember that Rick Jones hasn't exactly been himself lately, and one could even say it's for good reason. He was executed by Captain Hydra's soldiers in Secret Empire, brought back from the dead, experimented on and turned into a new version of the Abomination, and now for some reason he's become a Gamma Mutate light show. He seems oddly caught up in the science of it all. Not to say that Rick doesn't have a mind for science. Technically, since losing his A-bomb form, he picks up most any skill he tries his hand at ridiculously fast. So if he made himself an expert in computers and communication and hacking, why not science? But even with everything else going on with him lately, this makes him seem even more particularly off than usual. But once again, we'll touch on that here in just a few seconds. You see, what we really got to talk about here is the fact that Hulk is pissed off. And with every version of Hulk locked away and the Savage Hulk being the only one that remains, he's beyond over it and tired of all the rules, the regulations imposed upon himself, being told what to do and when to do it, and now he can act without anyone holding his leash. He plans to waltz right into Roxxon and tear the whole thing down brick by damn brick. But when they arrive, something is wrong. Xemnu has turned everyone inside Roxxon into some weird, twisted sausage versions of themselves, much like he alluded to when discussing his plans with Dario. And now that Dario realizes what is happening, that he backed the proverbial absolute wrong pony, Xemnu plays his true hand. Dario taught him everyone who worked for him was expendable, meaningless, replaceable, disposable. And Xemnu, being so hungry, consumed even Dario's security guards. And worse yet, for Dario at least, Xemnu feels like Dario has outlived his usefulness. He was okay with the deal they had originally made, but now Xemnu wants more. Like Dario told him before, he knows how the sausage is made, and that's exactly what he's about to become, oddly enough. When Hulk tears his way through all of Xemnu's sausage monster human converts, they find Dario in a mangled and, quite frankly, and pardon my French, up state. But before Hulk can respond, Xemnu sneak attacks and vows to take over Hulk's mind once again, and this time it will be for keeps, but leave it to old Rick Jones, stalwart Hulk sidekick, to be the one to save the day using his newfound abilities, force feeding gamma energy into Hulk's body to strengthen him. But what good is a stronger body for a Hulk if Xemnu still has his hooks in Hulk's mind? Well, it wasn't the Savage Hulk that Rick was trying to power up. It was the World Breaker. Revealing that he can manifest spike bone armor upon his skin when he takes control of Banner, and being the strongest Hulk there is, there's no surprise it only takes a one-hitter quitter from him to put Xemnu out of commission as he welcomes Xemnu to the real Planet Hulk. But it only lasts a scant moment as Savage Hulk regains control and World Breaker slides to the back of the queue. Rick thinks Hulk should go back and make sure everyone else is okay. But what is Rick really going to do? Well, Rick plans to reveal who he truly is. He's not Rick Jones. Rick Jones is still very dead. Someone else has been piloting his body ever since. And this entity wants to keep Dario around, at least until he outlives his usefulness to him, and so long as he leaves the Hulk alone. Because the Hulk is his and his alone to destroy. As for who he really is, at this point, I think it should come as no surprise. Because there are those who follow and there are those who lead, and it would be none other than Sam Stearns, the leader. This really does come as no small surprise considering the fact he was teased as recently as Immortal Hulk number 25, though at the time it was hard to discern exactly what the hell was even going on in that issue regarding him. And now that he's back, it makes sense. He's kind of really the one Hulk character that we really haven't seen since Immortal Hulk began. So yeah, even though technically him being in control of Rick Jones' body is way out of left field, but at the same time, it kind of makes sense that the leader would be pulling the strings this whole time. And I can tell you right now, he's doing a lot more than pulling strings, and I'm not going to talk about it here in this video because I already feel like this video has gone past the length that I want it to. We will discuss the rest of this in another video where I will talk about what was going on in the Immortal She-Hulk one-shot, as well as what's going on in the more recent issues number 34 on up in the Immortal Hulk series. When we get to those issues, I promise you we will learn exactly what the leader's been up to. We will learn how long he has been piloting Rick Jones and what his plans are for the Immortal One. I promise you we will get to that. But in the meantime, let me know what you think about the leader being in control of Rick Jones's body, and more importantly, the return of the World Breaker Hulk persona. Wash your damn hands and sound off in the comments. So hey, you made it to the end of the video. Awesome for you. If you enjoyed this video, and if you made it this far, I don't see how you didn't, do me a favor. Hulk smash that like button. And if you want to see more awesome videos like this one, make sure you click subscribe so you can become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers, and tap that bell so you know when I post up. Also, feel free to go check out my Patreon, where if you chuck in $1, you can get early access to most of my videos up to a week early. And if you have time, make sure you swing by nerd901.com, where you can find more of my content as well as other amazing stuff. Anyways, until next time, I love you 3000 plus ultra!